let's move on to your personal mission statement. And it really is a guiding light when things get dark. You've got your vision statement, but really, this is more or less your roadmap, your GPS, how you're going to get there. It's the nuts and bolts of how you're actually going to make things happen out there. Later on, we're going to talk about the objectives and SMART goals. It helps you understand how you're going to lay out and get to where you want to go as far as your vision statement. And now, one of the things, it's always under construction. You're always moving ahead, trying to figure out what's going on and trying to, again, this is a dynamic document, just like your vision statement, but more so, maybe your mission statement might change as you find out that elements aren't going to work. You're going to fall back and regroup. Just like your vision statement, your mission statement is not something that's just done overnight. You've got to stop and really think about it. In this class, you're going to write a mission statement, a personal mission statement. It's not, I don't anticipate that it's going to be a fully developed mission statement. It might just be a part of what you're going to be doing. Might be just talk about this semester or whatever you think about. You can look at the examples of other students that have done them and get an idea. But so again, when you really sit down and do this, I can tell you that my wife and I, back several years ago, we decided we need to really stop and get our life squared around, and we actually took a weekend, and Friday night, Saturday, and a Sunday. Went to a hotel in McCall, and we spent all that time working on our vision and mission statement and then our goals. So it's something that isn't just done overnight. And so take your time on it and keep working on it. Because what it really is, it's really your introspective on who you are. By developing your mission statement, you're really getting the core of your ability to do things. And as with your vision statement, your mission statement helps stretch you. Do I really want to do that? Or if you want to do something, and you say, I need to be able to have this skill set in order to be able to move my vision statement forward, and you don't have it, then you can actually develop that into your goals, that you're going to get that skill set. So it really looks at who you are and what, in terms of your own life and what you're going to do, and expresses your innermost values and directions in terms of where you really want to be headed and what you want to be doing. Fairly simply. And it really answers three questions. When you look at a mission statement, it'll answer these three questions. The one of them is, what is my life about? Your purpose. I mean, you look at Martin Luther King here. I have a dream. His whole purpose was be an activist in terms of civil rights, peaceful activist, and get that moving forward. That was really what, when you think about Martin Luther King. When you think about, what do I stand for? Your values. In this case here, during the Second World War, these women who worked in the factories and built the planes, they said, we can do this. We need to do this to support the fighting troops. And that's in terms of how you do, what your values are. And it gets back to your core values, too, in terms of what you really stand for. And what action do I take to manifest my purpose and values? In this case here, you see Martin Luther King. He actually went out there and he was marching. He and there's his wife there and several other people next to him. They were making what they would what you want to do in terms of putting shoe leather to it and all of that. And Stephen Covey says a personal mission statement represents the deepest and best within you. And Mother Teresa is that example. When Mother Teresa was in India initially, in the convent in India, and she saw the deep, deep need in the people around and was not able to do that in terms of her capacity. She actually left where she was and went out and started working with the people on the streets in India, in Calcutta, India. And I think it's interesting that we look at Mother Teresa, who, by the way, interesting enough, passed away the same week that Princess Di died. Mother Teresa had two dresses. She only needed two. One was being cleaned, and she was wearing one, whereas some of the other was her deepest and best within her, and how she focused and how she took care of the people on the streets of Calcutta and then the group that she's founded also goes around the world. And it is a fulfillment of your own unique gifts. Moreland Nelson here was the guy who took care of eagles. That was his unique gift, to be able to work with these birds, to understand these birds. So you stop and think about what kind of unique gift you have. My daughter is so phenomenal as far as spreadsheets. She can look at a spreadsheet, has had no formal training, but she can look at a spreadsheet and she can spot an error in a spreadsheet. She's that good about that. So it makes sense that she's working in an area in terms of doing bookkeeping. And when her husband started his own business as a framing contractor, she was able to help him along that way. So you need to really stop and do a self-assessment. What kind of unique gifts you have? And to say, oh, I don't have anything unique, I think it is an understatement. You need to really think about yourself. Maybe you need to ask people, what do you see in me that is very unique in terms of my talents? Sometimes we're not even aware of how we're doing things. So it really helps you fulfill those unique gifts in terms of taking your mission out there, your vision. And express your own unique capacity to contribute. Here's two ladies here, which the one on the left is Esther Simplot. When we think about Esther Simplot, who's Jack Simplot's wife, the potato guy here from the Valley, Esther invested a lot in the arts. You go downtown Boise, you're going to see the Esther Simplot buildings down there, and Esther spent a lot of time and invested a lot of energy in the arts and humanities in the Valley. And the person on the other side, that's Velma Morrison. Now you look at the Morrison Center. She did a lot of that too, but also Velma invested in a bunch of other organizations around the Valley, helping people in a whole bunch of different needs. Now, granted, we look at Esther Simplot and Velma Morrison, but I would suggest to you that there are dozens and dozens and hundreds and thousands of people that maybe don't have their pictures in the paper who are doing a unique job in terms of contributing in unique ways. And it might be just one person who was spending 4 hours a couple times a week with her father, helping him on a dialysis machine. That is capacity to contribute. And working with just one person is important as opposed to working with an organization. So it really in terms of contributing. And we're going to talk about this further on in terms of when we look at the whole global issue outside and how you can contribute. And it's really written to inspire you. When you stop and look at your mission statement, it says, wow, that's who I am. That's the skills that I have. That's the uniqueness that I have. And it's a positive statement, and you need to have it in front of you almost to kind of give you an idea where you're headed. And look at it frequently. This isn't something you're just going to write once and put it in a box. You almost maybe need to put it in a frame and put it up. It's not, and that's not being egotistic, because it helps you understand who you are. So let's look at a couple examples of mission statements here. In this case, this is a philanthropist, underserved. Let's look at a couple mission statements here. This one here is by a philanthropist, and you can read that. What they're basically saying is they want to be involved in charitable giving, they want to study and do direct involvement, and they want to help underserved people and arrive at a clear, informed, and bold focus that will define the organization I help to create. In other words, if you want to develop a organization over here, to provide the community excellent services at economic rates. That's some philanthropists. Let's look at this one here. This actually gives you both of them. It puts the vision on the bottom and the mission on the top. But if you look at the vision of this organization, it says, our vision is an Africa where everyone reaches their full potential through access to quality education, health, and good governance. Okay, that's your broad view. That's where you want to see. Then they take it into their mission and say, this is how we're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen in Africa by efforts to eradicate poverty, disease, inequity through self-help partnership programs. That clearly defines. And then what we do is from that, this group then would have some objectives. They would have some SMART goals, how they're really going to how they're going to eradicate poverty, how they're going to eradicate disease, how they're going to eradicate inequity. So you see, again, looking at the vision, this is good to have them both in one place. So with that, that's kind of your mission. You'll be writing your own mission statement, as I mentioned. It Doesn't need to be too involved. You got some examples there, but with that, and now the next thing we're going to do is talk about the SMART goals, because we've got their vision, we've got their mission. That's great, but how are you going to make this happen? That's the next piece of this.